Redistricting could be coming to the Commonwealth soon after the General Assembly voted to pass a constitutional amendment just last week. Now, local congressmen are weighing in. And yesterday's deadly shooting in Minneapolis is sparking reactions all across the country, including right here in Virginia. Top Republican in the House now says that President Donald Trump should consider pulling ICE out of Minnesota. And all across central Virginia, we're expecting a good amount of snowfall on Saturday going into Sunday. That means city and county employees will be working extra hard to make sure that they're staying prepared. Dominion Energy is bracing for any potential impact that this winter weather might have on their customers. They say that the biggest concern right now is the snow melting and refreezing. And Kirk's assassination has raised new questions about security at large political gatherings and how law enforcement can better protect crowds. Late night show host Jimmy Kimmel has been pulled off the air indefinitely following remarks that he made about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And we're learning more about Albemarle County Public Schools' plans to bridge the gap after a loss in federal funding. A Henrico County woman now faces charges following a car crash in Charlottesville that killed a pedestrian. The Charlottesville Police Department now says that 20-year-old Eleanor Cribbs has been charged with reckless driving and operating a motor vehicle while using a handheld device. Neighbors in Goochland are voicing strong opposition to the proposed data center near their homes. Residents say that the plan threatens to upend the peace that they moved there for. One person on average is killed every 42 minutes in a drunk driving crash. That's according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It's a very busy day here at CBS 19 News with a lot of developing stories, including a massive lawsuit against former high-profile leaders at UVA Health, a multi-billion-dollar investment in AstraZeneca in Albemarle County, and the first school board meeting since Allison Spillman's posts on social media comparing Turning Point USA to the KKK. So let's get right into our top stories today at 4. We start off with a CBS 19 exclusive report. A massive federal lawsuit against current and past high-profile leaders involved at UVA Health has been filed in the U.S. Western District Court. As we prepare for this upcoming winter storm, here's a quick checklist of everything that you should have on hand. A 3-day supply of water. FEMA recommends 1 gallon of water per person per day. Meal prep ahead of time. Also have plenty of shelf-stable foods, including snacks. Today's CBS 19 News working to raise money for the Salvation Army. We're ringing the bell all day long at the Barnes & Noble at Barracks Road Shopping Center. Well, the final beam has been placed on the 350,000 square foot skeleton of what will soon be UVA's Paul and Diane Manning Institute of Biotechnology. If you've been thinking about making the switch to solar, now might be the time to act. Solarize Virginia is extending its deadline, giving homeowners extra time to take advantage of a federal tax initiative and incentive that won't be around much longer. Another high-profile resignation at UVA Health. CEO Wendy Horton is stepping down. Millions of Americans are bracing for that major winter storm. 14 states, including Virginia, declaring a state of emergency at this time. It's expected to bring a deep freeze this weekend. And it's primary election day in Virginia. Voters heading to the polls to determine the November ballot. The Charlottesville Fire Department is officially responding to calls out of their brand new fire station right off of the 250 bypass. Looks like a lot of fun out there. Meantime, a farmhouse cafe that's been years in the making is officially open. In a new interview, President Donald Trump says that the U.S. could run Venezuela for years. Trump says that he plans to take and use Venezuela's oil while giving money back to the country. The administration also setting its sights on Greenland as Republicans in Congress push back on how the Danish territory could be acquired. Virginia State Police say that they're now investigating a fatal single vehicle crash that happened in Albemarle County. Recognition is rolling in for UVA Health as the medical center earns national praise for the quality of its specialty care. Albemarle County Police have arrested and charged the man involved in the May 1st shooting outside of an Exxon gas station near 5th Street. Another topic buzzing in Charlottesville is a debate surrounding how school resource officers should be
implemented in city schools. Back in March, the Charlottesville City School Board voted to bring back SROs starting in August of 2026.
Today, CBS 19 News working to raise money for the Salvation Army. We're ringing the bell all day long at the Barnes & Noble at Barracks Road Shopping Center. Governor Abigail Spanberger declared a state of emergency today ahead of the winter storm.
Police reporting an active shooter at UVA's Shannon Library. UVA's Department of Safety and Security tweeting out, "Run, hide, fight." A witness telling CBS 19 News that people are running from the scene there and there's a huge police presence in the area. People are hiding all over grounds, according to reports, and we have live team coverage now from grounds. Are you feeling groggy, anxious, or just unmotivated after the holidays? Well, you might be going through what's called post-holiday blues. Meantime, Albemarle County Police are still looking for individuals involved in yesterday morning's shooting on Commonwealth Drive.
As the U.S. government remains shut down with no resolution in sight, the Trump administration has threatened to carry out mass layoffs of federal workers if that stalemate continues. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said on Wednesday that layoffs to the federal workforce were, quote, imminent.
Random Row Running Club is hosting their Shoes for the Shoeless donation drive, and it's happening tonight.
Hey, Dan and Cassidy. Yeah, it's a really big deal, especially as we start getting a little stir crazy and trying to get the kids out of the house. It might look safe, but it's very, very dangerous. Take a look at this. This is some video that we filmed earlier this morning, and it's of the Rivanna River. It looks like plenty of ice out there, but especially where there's moving water, again, like the Rivanna, that ice is really unstable. And with temperatures right about freezing today and some bright sunshine, you just shouldn't trust it. Now, take a look at this graphic from the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. People that know a lot about winter weather, here are the levels that they have. The key for us here in Central Virginia is this number right here, 4 inches. That is the minimum amount of ice that you need to walk safely. The chart also shows quite a few other options, 5 to 7 inches, 7 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 17, and so on. For most of our areas, we won't see anything more than about 4 inches, especially if there is moving water underneath. Dan and Cassidy, back to you.
I want to be a good inspiration for my kids. So that's where we're at. I'm here. I'm going to fight for them. I'm sorry.
Elizabeth McQueen is a mom of 3, a sailor whose dream was to join the U.S. Navy. But having to say goodbye to her kids is never easy.
It was hard for my children, and it was hard being away from them, but I know I pushed through and I persevered, and it was all worth it when I finally got to walk that line and we got real quiet, and all I hear in the background is, "I love you, Mommy." And that was my daughter. And I'm gonna get a little teary. But I got so emotional because I was like, that's my kid. And I was like, I'm standing there and I'm like, I gotta hang in tough. And I did it.
McQueen is a second-class hull technician and welder on the USS Gettysburg, a Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser.
Arkin and sparkin'. Don't jump, don't freak out. It's gonna be loud.
For her, being in the Navy is something that she and her kids are proud of.
They love that I'm in the military. They think it's really cool that they can look up to me as my mom's fighting for our country.
But being on a ship away from home can take a toll on the sailor's mental health, especially without the proper resources. One civilian mental health counselor aboard the USS George Washington, a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, shares that he's here to help.
When they're stressed, sailors have really a difficult time focusing on the job. So family life does impact work life. Our job is to help them identify those work stress and also to let them know you don't have to suffer in silence.
Unfortunately, the USS George Washington is no stranger to tragedy. After nearly 6 years in overhaul spanning from 2017 until May of this year, 7 sailors died by suicide, 3 of which died within a week of each other.
You know, dealing with suicides is tragic, it's horrible. It touched on everyone differently.
This string of tragedies brought to light the need for more mental health resources, and the Navy has answered that plea.
Being in the Navy is no easy feat. Taking your mental health seriously is especially important so that you can serve your country to the best of your ability, both on the ship and off.
And so we're saying that it is okay to seek mental health counseling.
He says that through this tragedy, the crew on the USS George Washington has remained resilient.
So more sailors are involved, getting the healing, and they're recovering.
To me, it's just I'm bettering myself and I'm standing a good example for my kids, and that's all I can hope for.
Sharing their stories at sea. For Life Underway, Alexia Williams, CBS 19 News.
From flying above in our skies to touching down on our aircraft carriers, this is what the Navy is all about.
So outside of work, I fish a lot, so I just always like being on the water.
For those that call the U.S. Navy home, it's a path less traveled, an answer to a call, and a way to give back to their country.
I think it's a privilege to be able to represent like a state or a country. So
To take part in something bigger than you are, then it just makes you almost like a better person.
Inspiring the next generation of leaders.
it's a great honor, I'd say. And then I think it's pretty cool that when you kind of do this kind of job, you kind of can be like a role model. Like, for me, like another role model I have was like a friend's dad who was also a pilot. So it's like pretty cool to maybe be like that for someone else.
For some, joining the Navy was a way to explore the world.
Where all have you been able to travel to?
Outside the U.S., I've been to France, Thailand, Singapore, Dubai, Bahrain. Hoping to do a little bit more of like a Europe kind of thing.
For others, a family calling.
My grandfather was in the Navy, and then my dad worked for the Navy on MSC ships, so it seemed like the Navy was kind of just the right decision at the time.
Or an opportunity to fulfill a lifelong dream.
Honestly, I just really wanted to fly, and I'm sure everyone else has said the same thing, but I found that joining the military was the most direct option to do it, and it also provided flying opportunities that you wouldn't be able to get anywhere in the civilian world.
No matter their journey to the Navy, their story of life underway is one full of adventure, service, and sacrifice.
I kind of saw the military as kind of a way to like do something bigger than myself and still kind of do that dream of flying as well. I think it also gives you a little bit of self-fulfillment too, like not choosing the easy route, like doing something a little bit difficult.
Heroes walking our ships and protecting our nation. Sharing their stories at sea. For Life Underway, Alexia Williams, CBS 19 News.
From a small town to a floating city, sailors from Central Virginia share why they call the USS George Washington home.
With roots in a small college town.
From Charlottesville, within city limits.
To the open sea, a sailor serving on the USS George Washington. 22-year-old Christopher Drumheller, born and raised in Charlottesville, is a hometown hero, leaving his city and those he loves.
So I would say the hardest thing is being away from family. Of course, I miss the rolling hills and, you know, those trees that turn all those pretty colors in the fall, but it's manageable, but I miss my family.
To protect and serve his country.
I think if we get the call, we're going to be ready.
But to those he knew, a career in the United States Navy made perfect sense.
So I wouldn't say many folks were surprised.
Well, I was not surprised.
Being a sailor is in his blood.
My grandfather actually was a sailor during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and, you know, he would spin his sea stories and kind of drum up the adventure, and, you know, when I came of age, I knew that it was something that I wanted to do.
A way to leave his mark on the world.
That was the selling point of joining, you know, wanting to go out and be a part of history.
For Drumheller, life at sea was an easy choice.
I loved history and just anything dealing with the military, so it was kind of an easy end, at least mentality-wise.
But a tough goodbye for his parents.
A lot of mixed emotions.
The sadness of seeing him go, mixed with the pride of knowing he's accomplishing his dreams.
We're just proud of him.
We are very, very proud of him.
As a religious program specialist, he takes pride in helping and protecting others.
I knew before I joined the Navy that this is what I was going to do. My job is to care for the religious needs of the ship and take care of sailors. And they sell it to us as being the bodyguard for the chaplain with the Marines. So I couldn't say no to that.
Something his parents say has always been a huge part in his life.
Our youngest is a special needs child. His little brother loves him to death, the bond that they have.
His #1 fan.
Exactly.
Being a part of something bigger than himself. From talking to sailors about their mental health.
It's a continuous and tireless effort of, educating people on the signs that could possibly go wrong. Because if you're not there, you can't see it.
To sharing his faith.
If someone expresses that they want to hear more about God, the chaplain's there, they'd be happy to talk to them.
But at the end of the day, Drumheller says he's proud, not just for being a part of the Navy, but by being a son, a brother, and a husband.
How thankful I am for my family, my city, of just being able to get me to this point, and just all the support along the way.
Besides his family and his city, the thing he misses most?
Going to Ace Biscuit and Barbecue.
We love to eat. So.
Sharing their stories at sea. For Life Underway, Alexia Williams, CBS 19 News.
We're here in Albemarle County. Right behind me is Rio Road, which plow crews have been doing a fantastic job going back and forth, clearing out the roads as frequently as possible. It is still really dangerous to be out on these roads, especially any secondary roads, any parking lots, anything like that, as the ice is now settling in. We do have freezing rain that is falling right now, making these conditions even worse on top of the snow and the sleet that we've already had. Another big issue is snowcrete. So take a listen to this. That is frozen solid. It's really hard to walk out here, even harder to drive in these conditions. It's on average in the low 20s right now, and it's going to continue to drop. Our lows are going to be in the single digits. So please stay safe, stay indoors, stay warm. Just don't drive on these roads. Don't come outside. It's cold. I don't want to be out here. You shouldn't be out here. Live in Albemarle County, Alexia Williams, CBS 19 News. We are inside the big glistening tree right now, feeling all of the holiday magic.
I know, I'm just loving it. We did the tree last year. We came inside the tree last year. Had to do it again. That was one of my favorite things out here at Winter Wander. Maybe you're planning on heading out to Winter Wander this evening. You're going to need the jacket. It's probably a good idea.
I'm not sure where AJ is either. I think he got lost in all of the winter magic and the Winter Wonder here at...
Oh.
He's back! It's a Christmas miracle! Oh my gosh, AJ, where have you been?
Oh, Alexia, you know me. I've just been prancing around with some of my closest friends.
So, if you're Prancer, then where are your friends Dasher and Dancer?
Where would you think we should look for my friends? Let's look straight to the sky.